So the future of NASCAR is very promising. There's a lot of changes that are coming this way, and I would like to explain to you today about it. My goal for the speech is to inform about the future of NASCAR. NASCAR's future is currently being led by multiple people, including Jim France, who took over for Brian France after Brian France was arrested for driving under the influence and had multiple drugs in his car as well, Steve Phelps, and Steve O'Donnell. My main points for this speech are going to be 2020 and 2021. Let's start off with 2020. The first thing is the schedule changes. There were a lot of schedule changes that are going to be taking place for the year 2020. Let's start off with the Pocono doubleheader. According to Adam Stern, journalist at Sports Business Daily, NASCAR will race its first doubleheader at Pocono 2020. How it will work is the Gander Outdoor Truck Series will take place on the Saturday race, and on the Sunday race, the Xfinity Series race will run on the Sunday. Next is ISM Finale. ISM will take place as the finale, and it's the first time since 2002 that we have a new racetrack taking place as the finale, which was originally Homestead Miami Speedway. This is due to a major upgrade in the facility, as it here in the visual aid. I will show you. You can see right here they moved the backstretch to the front stretch where the backstretch originally was. The pit road, it goes from turn 2 to turn 3. And they moved a lot of things around with ISM last year. It was a major investment because they moved this around at the fall of 2018. The next change was a very controversial change because they moved Daytona to the regular season finale. This was to create drama and excitement, and it's also a new spot in the schedule for Daytona, as in 1969 they brought the Firecracker 400, and this is the first change for it since 2000, for the first change since it started in 1969. Next we have the West Coast Swing. This was moved, instead of Atlanta being the second race, the West Coast Swing takes over after Daytona. This is due to the hype around the West Coast Swing, and a lot of people were wanting it to be the West Coast Swing, which 3 races are Vegas, ISM, and Auto Club. Next is Atlanta. Atlanta was moved after the West Coast Swing. This is due to help the weather, because weather does affect the racetrack, because Atlanta has a rough and older surface to the point where grip is going to matter less, and it's going to make the track a lot more racier, and it's going to make the racing more fun. Next up is Homestead. Homestead, which I already mentioned was the last race, was moved to after Atlanta Motor Speedway. And what benefits this is that a lot of colleges are going to be off, and I think a lot of college students are going to be able to go out to Homestead Miami Speedway. There was an argument around that Sebring, a racetrack, Sebring 12 hours was going to be affect this, which wasn't really the case at all, because I think Sebring 12 hours takes place on the Saturday, and on the Sunday, Sebring is not that day. So everyone can go out to Homestead, which is 100 miles from Sebring International Raceway. Up next is the 4th of July Indianapolis race. This was, I think, in my opinion, this is a last-ditch effort for Indianapolis, because stock cars really have never worked out for Indianapolis. The racing's been boring, and then in 2008 we had an issue where the tires were bad, and we had to bring out competition cautions for every 10 laps. Next is a marketing strategy by NASCAR, which was Martinsville. Martinsville was moved to Mother's Day weekend. This will be the first night race that takes place at Martinsville International Raceway, as they built a bunch of lights in 2017. This is for a marketing strategy. Up next is a 2-week break, and the reason there is a 2-week break that is taking place is because the Olympics are happening at a time, and NBC covers the Olympics. Up next is the Southern 500, which starts the playoffs, and it's good marketing strategy as well, because it is on the throwback weekend. It's a throwback race where you have all these throwback liveries. Up next is Bristol. Instead of this being in the fall, they moved this to farther in the season to be in the first cutoff race in the playoffs. And then again, we go back to Martinsville because it is the last race before the season finale. While it's going to be cold, the racing is going to be really good because Martinsville is a great racetrack. And finally, on the schedule change, we have the Charlotte Roval. This is the second cutoff race of the playoffs. The Roval in 2018 provided a lot of great racing, and the ratings went up as well, so NASCAR was thinking we should move the race to later in the year. The second thing is for 2020 is a new business model. Now, what's very interesting about this is that there will be no title sponsor. According to Adam Stern, NASCAR rejected Monster Energy's offer to extend to 2020. This will be the first time since 1970 where there will be no title sponsor. Instead, they're going to be going through a tiered system. There will be 3 tiers based on how much money each team makes, and how it works is like F1 does a certain system where they do races presented by. For instance, Mark Marlboro presents a race, like the Marlboro presents the Monaco Grand Prix. Now this transition will lead us into 2021. Now in 2021, there is a new Gen 7 car supposed to be enacted. According to Zach Albert, writer of NASCAR.com, in an article published on February 4, 2019, the Gen 7 car is targeted for the 2021 Daytona 500. One of the big changes that is expected to be on this car is potentially a no-splitter. Also, we have new tracks potentially coming to the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series. Gateway, which is a track based out here in St. Louis, they just had a major change take place there. According to Jeff Curry, WWT Worldwide Technology took naming rights to Gateway International Raceway, which is a major investment, and they also are planning to upgrade the facility in the near future. Another track potentially coming is Iowa International Raceway. Currently, they house 30,000 seats, and it's also a short track. Next is Nashville Fairgrounds. This is where the NASCAR banquet is expected to take place. However, there are some issues around the Nashville Fairgrounds. One of them being a Major League Soccer event that is expected to take place there. And also, as you can see, there's an apartment complex